Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your Diwali break. But yes, the post Diwali phase is the toughest because your mind is still in the hangover of festive mode. Your body feels lazy. The syllabus looks never ending. The exam date is inching nearer and nearer. And you feel that it's too late to prepare. It's too late to restart. It's too late to actually think that you can crack the 2026 prelims. But here I am discussing the strategy so that you break the inertia and get into the UPSC preparation mode with clarity and momentum, right? So today is 1st November and we have good 3 months to prepare for not just prelims but also little bit of mains, because I believe that it's not that prelims requires 6 months of preparation, but in a way that when you're trying to prepare for prelims, you should be mains ready too, so that when you crack prelims after the May month, you should be able to revise whatever you have covered previously as part of your mains preparation, be it optional or GS. So today's session is just about that how we can manage the next 3 months. And I'm not just including the last 2 months of this year, that is November and December of 2025, but also including the first month of the next year. Okay, so let's get started and I'll keep on discussing what all needs to be done. But before I discuss the strategy, I want to first answer this question because I time and again come across this question asked by many of my students. And it's a valid question because we always feel that when we have wasted our time due to any reason, or maybe we were not able to focus on the preparation post the prelims of the current year, that means from the months of July onwards till October end, you were not able to focus and prepare for UPSC, then you start getting that doubt that am I late, or should I still think about UPSC for the next year, or should I take a break, should I join a job, should I think of some other exam? All these questions are valid, but I always believe that unless it's 24th May, 9:30 a.m., you shouldn't think that you're late. We still have good time. But of course, when you have less time, it means that you need to put in a lot of efforts. You need to put in more efforts. So, right now, if you are just studying 4 to 5 hours, that's not sufficient. You have to touch 8 to 10 hours on a daily basis, right? And you have to increase that focus, you have to increase that passion, you have to increase that what you call it, concentration and the energy that you have to put in into the preparation now. So yes, we are done with the festivals, we are done with all kind of distractions, we are even done with many of these state service prelims examinations and other examinations. Yes, there are 1 or 2 examinations still left, I understand, but that doesn't mean that you will stop preparing for UPSC civil service examination and you will get distracted and you start thinking that it's too late. No, it's never too late. The day you decide that I can do it now, I can start from now, is actually the best thing that you can do for yourself, right? So today is that day. Let's restart. Even if you were not able to study earlier, no problem. You wasted your July, August, either due to some personal issues or you were not able to study for civil services examination dedicatedly because you were focusing on some other plan B, some other state service. It's totally fine. We still have time. But yes, don't approach this session or don't approach the strategy with the mindset that I am going to do everything in a perfect way. Perfection is something which is always going to create that doubt, because when you have an aim that I want to do things perfectly, then when you're not able to do that perfectly, you start getting those doubts and you don't even take that first step. So remove the notion of perfection from your mind during these months. What I mean to say is that the strategy today that I'll be discussing is focused more on practical application or practicality of the aspect of preparation, in the sense that what can be done in the next 2 to 3 months, which is possible. And of course, it's going to help you not just to be mains ready, but also in a way kickstart your prelims preparation too. This session, let me be clear, is not about prelims preparation. I feel we still have time to postpone our prelims preparation to the later months, and now still we can focus on covering up some GS mains portion and optional preparation, right? So let's just see month by month what we can do. So actually, if you see, for us, imagine that the new year starts from now, from today onwards. Why? Because we never follow the calendar which the other world, other people are following. We follow the UPSC calendar. Keeping in mind the UPSC calendar, we know that our prelims exam is in next year on 24th of May, right? So keeping in mind that, what months or what time I have November, I have December, I have January. Now, this is my one last opportunity to be mains ready. Please don't waste November, December and start thinking of doing optional in the month of January and February. Please don't do this, okay? And also, I know that there will be many, courses or test series, it will be launched, which is, focusing on prelims. Now it's not the time to think solely about prelims. We will be thinking about that, but not solely or just about prelims, okay? So just have patience. Let me go through month by month to tell you what you can do exactly, even if you haven't studied from the months of July to October. Now, still you can start your preparation and start studying. So, November, December, January, okay, one last opportunity. And then what do we do? February, March, April, May. Of course, that is going to be dedicated for prelims preparation. No optional, no GS mains, okay? Please don't start thinking of or planning to cover optional in the month of February and March. No, that's a bad strategy, okay? Let's move on to the month of November. Now, what exactly you would do, right? Now, instead of thinking about that, let me cover all GS 1, 2, 3, 4 syllabus, or let me cover everything of optional, it's better to prioritize. What is more important right now? Out of that GS 1, 2, 3, 4 main syllabus, which subject or which subjects are possible or I can prioritize to cover in the months of November, December? What portion of optional can I prioritize? Because yes, I find it difficult, or maybe my conceptual clarity is not there. I require some extra help or resource, or maybe I just need to revise it multiple times. Maybe I haven't done answer writing practice. Whatever be your reason, please start prioritizing what you're going to do in the next 2 to 3 months. Don't start with this notion of perfection that everything can be done. I don't want to build a false hope or deceive you that yes, everything can be done. Yes, it can be done because it depends on the individual speed of the student, individual, focus and how many hours you're sitting. If you still have some other exam planned in the month of November or December, then of course you have to manage. So keep that in mind, that it's not about perfectly covering the things, but trying to prioritize what you will prioritize. That I'm going to help you decide. So first of all, it's not about covering every paper of GS 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to prioritize, pick subjects related to mains, in the sense those subjects which are solely asked in the mains examination. They don't have any bearing, they don't have any relation in the prelims phase. What are those subjects? Of course, you have GS1, in that you have society, right? So GS1, because modern history, your even, you could say geography, art and culture, these all portions overlap with prelims syllabus also, right? So when you will be preparing for prelims, it is suggested that you could pick up those subjects there, like modern history, like geography, so that you can prepare both from prelims and mains perspective. at this point of time, especially in the month of November and December, I would recommend you pick up those subjects which have no bearing on the prelims syllabus. What are those subjects? GS1 Society. I have deliberately not written world history and post-independence because the cost benefit ratio is less, the ROI is less. But yes, if you're interested in doing it, because we will not be skipping it altogether, we will be doing it, but maybe on the priority list, it doesn't come out to be on the higher side. So maybe I'll do it world history and post independence towards the last week of December or so, right? I'll take out some time and maybe, in 4 or 5 days, I would cover up world history and post independence. But more important is understanding that society is quite important from the mains perspective. In GS2, you have governance, social justice, and international relations. Now, also, you understand that society and social justice can be combined together to study as a single subject. They are asked separately, of course, society as part of GS1 and social justice as part of GS2. But then I would recommend that when you're preparing, you prepare it in a combined way. So combine your society and social justice together. But yes, in GS2, you could see I have skipped polity. Now, I'm not saying that whatever you're going to study from prelims perspective in polity is same for mains. No, there are few nuanced, I would say, analytical kind of questions or topics or issues which have more relevance in the mains exam rather than in the prelims exam. But still, I have not included polity over here. Why? Because I know that if I tell my students to start studying polity from both prelims and mains perspective, they're going to take 3 to 4 weeks just to cover those topics. And we need to be very careful right now because the aim is to cover 5, 6 subjects in a month so that we are able to say that at least I am little bit of mains ready, right? Okay. So what you're going to do, governance, social justice, international relations. In GS3, you have agriculture, internal security, infrastructure. When I'm saying infrastructure, I hope you know the syllabus points when you have investment models and infrastructures and roads, ports and all that, right? I'm talking about those specific portion of the syllabus, okay? And then you have disaster management. So all these subjects, GS1, 2, 3 that I have written over here have bearing majorly on mains. Now, yes, sometimes UPSC has, asked a question on self-help group, but, I'm not here to talk about the unconventional things, but things which are generally followed. So conventionally, these are your subjects which have relation over, or I would say relation to the mains rather than the prelims part. So can we focus on these subjects as of now so that you get the confidence that you are little bit of mains ready? If not 100%, then at least you have covered few portions of the main syllabus. Okay, so what you're going to do in the month of November is that you're going to pick subjects related to mains. That means, yes, you're optional. Now, here I'm not discussing in detail about the optional because optional subjects vary. That's obvious. And also, optional preparation has to be assessed and judged by the student himself or herself, that where you're standing. Some people have done their optional. Maybe it could be that in the months of July to October, your plan was to cover optional and maybe you have done 85 to 90% of your optional. Or it could be a possibility that you were not able to touch your optional at all. Somebody might have been able to cover paper 1, somebody might have been able to cover paper 2. So a lot of variations, a lot of, you could say different sets of challenges will be there for different optional subjects and for, different students. So you are your best judge on it. Please assess your optional preparation and accordingly plan it out for the months of November and December. You have to study optional. If you have covered it earlier, go for answer writing practice, go for validation. You can even enroll into a test series, but please keep into mind that whatever test series you are planning to enroll should not extend up till March. I would say if there's a test series which is, has a schedule of November to January and even November to February is still acceptable, don't enroll into a test series which has tests lined up and queued up till the month of March. Because then usually I have seen that students, when they opt for such kind of test series, they don't write a single test post January, because by February and March, you're already living in that environment where prelims is, is echoing in your ears. So there's already, you are going through the fear of missing out of prelims preparation. That FOMO feeling is there because your friends have already enrolled into some prelims revision classes. Your friends have already, enrolled into some test series. So you might not actually be able to utilize your optional test series, especially if the schedule is lying for the months of February and March. If it is designed like that, please talk to the respective institute and the administration so that they can, make a concession and you can appear for those tests that is, scheduled for February and March, maybe, after the prelims exam. So you can, schedule them post prelims exam in the months of June and July also, right? So please talk to them in that, in that direction. But yes, the preparation has to be done. So either you're preparing a syllabus, if you're done with your syllabus and note making, either you're going for answer writing practice. If you're done with that, of course, enroll into test series. If you're, into maybe you have written some answers and then you feel that no, my quality is not there, then of course go for validation. Whatever you want to do, you're the best judge of it. Please sit and assess your standing in the optional subject so that accordingly you can plan your preparation for the next 2 to 3 months. Okay, when I'm saying 2 to 3 months, that means my focus is more on November and December and January. Okay, so yes, you have to pick up your optional. You have to pick up few subjects. Not all subjects can be covered in the month of November itself. So maybe choose your subject accordingly. Maybe it could be a possibility that before Diwali break you were studying polity, right? Or maybe you were studying ethics. So whatever you want to pick up in accordance with that, okay, I studied something before the Diwali, now post Diwali I want to continue with the same momentum, the same, phase of studying, and pick up the subject accordingly. But I will recommend doing this rather than picking up subjects like science and tech, rather than picking up subjects like environment, rather than picking up subjects like polity, modern history. Those subjects which are the core subjects of prelims preparation, you will not be touching in the months of November at least, and even in December. But in December, there's a slight, I would say, condition applied kind of, situation, which I'll be explaining to you. But at this point of time in November, please don't pick up subjects which are, part of your prelims preparation or prelims syllabus. Okay, so please focus on these subjects, and it could be a possibility that many of these subjects have already been covered. If you have covered good enough, you can proceed to other subjects. Okay, but if somebody who hasn't prepared optional, who hasn't prepared subjects for mains, hasn't done answer writing, I would recommend please focus on answer writing, please focus on note making in these November and December months. Okay, also essay, we will not ignore essay. I know many of you don't get time, you want to write an essay but you feel that inertia, you are not getting time. I would say please fix a day, a date also, per month, wherein you're writing at least 2 to 3 essays. Essay improvement cannot happen in few days, it takes months and months. I have many students who have written, this year's mains exam, and they were working with me for essay preparation from last year. So they were already writing, many essays in the months of 2024 before they actually went for their prelims. They cracked the prelims in the year 2025, and then they again were writing many essays, and then they actually went and appeared for the mains 2025. So in a way, if your plan is to score nice and good in the mains essay of 2026, you have to start practicing essay from now onwards. Please don't ignore it, okay? Because improvement in essay requires time. And when I say time, it's not even days, it requires weeks and months. Because once you have written an essay, you get it evaluated, you get it assessed, you understand where you're lacking, then you keep on planning on how to improve, how to remove those shortcomings in your essay, and that's how you proceed. You cannot think of joining a test series in the month of June just after your prelims, because you have qualified prelims and now you're going to write mains, and you're enrolling into a essay test series in the month of June. You're barely writing 2 to 3 essays, and then you expect to, score very high on the essay paper in the actual mains. No, that's a far-fetched, situation. That's really something which is good to hear, but it's practically not, possible. And I would say it's also not logical to postpone your essay preparation. So you're part of test series, you're not part of test series, that's okay, but at least do some self practice. So align your essay practice also. What you can do is that maybe you align it, that you'll write an essay every 10th day or maybe every week, whatever your schedule, your own micro schedule allows you to, whatever time you have. But please keep on writing essays. My minimum is that you should be writing 2 essays per month. Maximum could be 3 4, whatever your time management, whatever your schedule allows you to go for it, right? So optional GS Mains essay. For GS Mains, I have highlighted the subjects that you could cover. It's your choice, you want to go with which subjects. I have just told you that with society and social justice, please combine it together. Don't treat it as 2 separate subjects. It's better to combine it together and then prepare for it, right? Then what you have to actually do, what's your timeline? So for every subject over here, I would recommend not investing more than 4 to 5 days. For example, disaster management, I feel that if you're clear with your sources, you know which material you're going to follow, you should be covering disaster management in maximum of 3 days, right? Then in case of, governance, same thing. So 4 to 5 days maximum. Now, when I'm saying 4, of course, it depends on the students' hours of, how many hours you're putting in for GS, because you have to manage your optional also. And 5 days because maybe, some answer writing practice or some validation, you wanted to just do some note making. So keeping in mind that 4 to 5 days per subject is good amount of time. Now, when I'm saying 4 to 5, it can also spill over to become 6 to 7 days for certain subjects, but not for all. Maybe when you're covering international relations, you want to cover every bilateral, every organization, every important thing which is in news and it has been in news. So maybe 4 to 5 days feels short for you because you're managing your optional also on the daily basis with the GS preparation. Then maybe you take it over to 6 7 days, but never ever cross 7 days for any subject. If you're doing that, it means, especially for these subjects, if you're doing that, this means either your source is too exhaustive, you still haven't understood what to study and what to ignore, or you are, you have picked up a material and you want to be perfect. You have picked up multiple materials, you're referring one topic from 2 3 different sources, which is going to, of course, consume time. So have a look at the previous year questions, decide the boundary, the perimeter of the syllabus, understand that, okay, where and how the UPSC is picking up questions from your syllabus points for these particular subjects, and accordingly try to prioritize. Don't start with the first syllabus point. Please start with those topics. For example, in agriculture, don't start with the input, those land reforms and all that. Yes, land reform is important, but I would recommend that when you see the recent years, paper questions, you would understand that UPSC is asking more on food processing, more on MSP, more on agriculture marketing, more on, effects of climate change on agriculture, and, like those kind of topics which are falling on the lower side, on the, the bottom side of the syllabus portion. So please see that which topics are important, what UPSC is asking in the previous 4 5 years, and then accordingly prioritize. Okay, don't start with the input side of agriculture, investing 2 3 days into studying all types of irrigation, the seed policy, the fertilizer policy. Yes, these are important, but maybe you have to pick up a list. You have to, make a list where the priority needs to be a certain which topic needs to come first. Okay, I've given you the hint. Please do it for all other subjects also. In a way, this is the practical nature of preparation for these months, because initially I told you, remove the notion of perfection. We are not aiming for perfection, we are aiming for practical completion of our syllabus, so that before you go for your prelims, you feel that if I crack my prelims, I still stand a good chance to crack mains and to able to secure an interview call. because many of the times I've come across students who are, maybe preparing wholeheartedly for prelims, and they even crack prelims. But the moment their name, the name and roll number is out, that they have qualified prelims, now they're supposed to write mains, then a brick hits them, then a rock falls on them, and then they realize that, oh my God, I am totally not prepared for mains. So let's not put ourselves into that situation, because nobody knows that if you'll be getting the second chance to write mains or not. That's the nature of the exam nowadays. So I recommend that whatever chance you're getting, make it or plan it in such a way that you're not just cracking the first stage, which is the prelims, you're also ensuring that I am, if not 100%, at least I am 75 to 80% mains ready, and the remaining 20-25% I will try to make myself better in the months of June, July, August. In the August itself, you'll have the mains. So I'll try and do better in the remaining days of May, June, July. Makes sense, right? Okay, so please frame your schedule according to this, right? Now what I've done is I have given you the calendar also. So yes, it feels naive, it feels very childish, but trust me on this, sometimes it's good to see that what days you have. Whenever I plan my month, whenever I have the days, the dates written in front of me, because yes, you do have digital calendars on your phone and everything, but having it in front of you makes you realize the importance of time. You feel that I have less number of days. So it's good to, write it down and see how many days you have. Today we are standing on 1st November. Today is Saturday. Okay, this S stands for Saturday. This is Sunday. So from tomorrow onwards, you get exactly 4 weeks in the month of November. The November has 30 days. So you have exactly 4 weeks, 28 days. That means if I say that you should be devoting 4 to 5 days per subject, that comes down to that you will be able to cover at least 5 to 6 subjects in this one particular month itself. Of course, I'm assuming that you're efficient. I'm assuming that you're not wasting any further time. I'm assuming that you have planned your month. Planning is very, very important. Don't just plan your day and week, plan month, plan your week, plan your day, and please do this beforehand. Please keep in mind that certain buffer days needs to be put into place. Buffer days in the sense 1 or 2 days which you are deliberately keeping it empty because maybe for some unforeseen reasons you couldn't study or complete the subject within the deadline of 4 to 5 days. So maybe you took 1 day extra. Your subject is getting completed on the 6th day. So please keep buffer, 1 or 2 days buffer in between when you plan, so that if there's any spillover, you're not totally mismanaging your entire schedule, but you have already planned it beforehand that, okay, if something is not getting completed, I can complete it on this particular day. Okay, so this is how your 4 weeks looks like, and I feel that this is good enough, sufficient time to actually cover few subjects. I'm again not expecting you to cover everything perfectly. You can maybe cover everything but not perfectly, so just remove that perfection. Then everything, maybe it's better to prioritize that, okay, let me prioritize in GS3 agriculture, let me complete internal security, let me cover governance in GS2. So in that way you're supposed to do. Also, if you're still not done with your ethics paper, GS4 ethics, if you have still not touched it, and I say that in the past 4 or 5 months, if you haven't touched ethics, then it's recommended that you pick up ethics, maybe just not today onwards, but maybe in the middle of somewhere in November, I would recommend you to start doing ethics. Okay. Why I'm not saying, asking you to, pick it up as a subject from today onwards or as a first subject post your Diwali break, because you're already into the lazy mode, and most of the times ethics is very subjective. You tend to become more lazy when you're studying it because it has got too many philosophies and too many things. Few people don't find it interesting, very much obvious, no problem in that. It's just that we have to be smart about it. So something is not interesting, but of course you have to cover it. It's a compulsion to cover ethics. Then what you will do? You will try and club it somewhere where the momentum is there, where you have already removed your inertia, where you have gotten back into the preparation mode, where you're already sitting for 8 to 10 hours. your optional preparation is already going on in a nice way, then you include ethics. Okay, and this is especially if you haven't touched ethics, you could say post June onwards, or from July onwards. If July to October you have not done ethics, then it's your priority to actually combine your ethics preparation maybe in the second to third week of November. Okay, wrap it up over here, because again ethics has no relation for prelims, and when we are going into December, there will be a possibility that we bring in some amount of preparation of prelims too, right? So here, even if you cover, if you get 6 days, 7 days, so 7 days ka bhi average lete ho na per subject, still you will be able to cover at least 4 subjects, which is good progress. Rather than being stuck on zero, rather than not covering anything, it's better that at least you have covered something, right? So accordingly see, but having this calendar in front of you is very, very important. Please write it down. Please plan your days according to it. Schedule that, okay, what you're going to do from Sunday to Friday to Thursday, Saturday, how your weeks are going to be. Week 1 will cover which subject, week 2 will have which subject, week 3 will have which subject. So plan it in that way, and this is going to really help you. Now we come to the month of December. Now see, for me the month of December is a little tricky, because I will not ask you to just sit and prepare for mains, but I would recommend that you should start bringing in something about prelims preparation. Also, without taking any names, there will be, because I always suggest my students to enroll into some prelims tests which are happening on daily basis, so that you get into the mode of solving MCQs. You get into the mode of utilizing your days, hours for kick-starting your prelims preparation. Because it's it needs to be understood that whenever we think that, okay, from maybe January 1st we are going to start prelims preparation, it never happens that your switch for the mains preparation will be off on 31st December night, and on January 1st 8 a.m. your switch will be on for prelims. It doesn't happen like that, because we are not robots. There is a transition period. So for me, December is that transition period. Okay, and if you're enrolling into some daily tests for the prelims, then of course you will be forced to study for it, but you will not be studying the entire day for prelims. That is why it is very tricky to tell the students about the planning of December. In December, the idea is that you have to slowly bring in the prelims preparation, but you're also not going to leave out the mains preparation. You have to balance it out. Now, balancing doesn't mean exactly 50-50, that, okay, if I'm studying 10 hours, then 5 hours for mains or 5 hours for prelims. It could also mean 70-30. It could also mean 60-40, and it could also mean 50-50. It all depends on what is your preparation level, where you at, where's your confidence, what you want to do, what you want to cover. Okay, so but you have to bring in a little bit of prelims preparation. So in the month of December again, and now it's tricky. It's tricky in the sense it's difficult, it's challenging, because you have to also study optional. So in a way, through the months of November, when you have transitioned into the month of December, your study hours should automatically increase. So if you were just sitting for 8 or 10 hours, maybe you have to increase it to 11 to 12 hours also. When I say 11 to 12 hours, I don't mean that every day it will be 11, 12 hours, but maybe on an average, some days you're studying 11, 12 hours. Next day it went back to 10. Again, you try to pick it up to 11. Then again, it fell back to 10 or 8, depending on, how you're studying and what's happening. And then again, so there is a fluctuation. There's not a, a horizontal line. There's a fluctuation which is happening. But on an average, you are crossing 10 plus hours. That's what the aim is. Because in December, you have to put in more effort. Why? Because you have to wrap up your optional. In the month of November, you were doing your optional. It was easy to do it because there were just 2 targets majorly. Half of the day you're doing optional, half of the day you're doing your GS mains preparation. But then in the month of December, your optional needs to be started, your GS mains, other remaining subjects. So I'm assuming in November, you cover those subjects of GS mains where you feel difficulty, where you feel that the syllabus is too big, where you feel that I need to put in a lot of efforts. And in the month of December, align those subjects which you feel that I can handle it, or it's easy for me to understand those subjects, so that your entire day is not quite hectic, it's not very challenging, because I know that if there's a lot of challenges in your preparation, you will stop preparing, you will accept defeat, you will go to the library, you will sit for 1 to 2 hours, and then you'll come back and you'll waste time. So let's not plan our day in such a way that it demotivates us. Let's not put our targets in such a way that if we are not achieving our targets, then it is actually demotivating us. It is not helping us cover our targets and feel good about ourselves. So keep small targets, keep feasible, practical targets, okay? And that is why your GS mains, the subjects that you'll be covering in the month of December, they should be something where you feel comfortable, where you feel okay, it's not very challenging for you, because you have to study a lot of things. So optional coverage, that also needs to be done. Your GS means covering other subjects. Essay writing, again, bring it down to 2 essays. Okay, so in the month of November, if you were able to write 3 essays every 10th day, or 4 essays every week you were writing an essay, in the month of December you can bring it down to 2 essays. Okay, so that it's a light schedule, you're able to manage. Then you have to start prelims 2 to 3 hours, because you need to start practicing multiple choice questions, and this is particularly valid for those students who have trouble in clearing prelims, who have been into their multiple attempts, but they have not been able to crack prelims. So you need to get into the MCQ practice. You need to get into that question mode, those multiple choice question mode, so that you start understanding where you are committing mistake. Now, of course, there are various reasons behind somebody who's not able to crack prelims. It could be, ranging from lack of revision to lack of adequate practice to many other, issues. That is something that's not the focus of this particular session. I will be conducting one specific session for prelims preparation, what can be done over that, but today it's more about managing the months, the remaining months of 2025 and the upcoming few months of the new year 2026. So prelims 2 to 3 hours, please start your MCQ practice. You could do it in your self mode, in the sense you do not want to enroll for any test series, it's okay. If you're disciplined enough, and that's why I'm emphasizing, if you're disciplined enough to go for self practice on your own every day, good for you. If you feel that no, I am not so disciplined, maybe I'll be doing it for 2-3 days and then I'll be missing it for 4 days, and then somebody would remind me to start doing it again, and then again I'll pick it up for one day, then on the second day again I'll skip it. So if you're so unsure about that discipline and that commitment to solving MCQs, then I would recommend enrolling for the daily test kind of series, so that you are into the MCQ practice. But even if you're enrolling into some prelims test series which happen on daily basis, you should just be devoting these kind of hours. Don't make it about December, the entire December about prelims preparation, studying 10-12 hours for prelims, because I know nobody's going to study for 10 to 12 hours just for prelims in the months of December and January. That's for sure. Okay, so in a way, because that pressure is not there, so in a way, your aim is, you feel that yes, I'll study, I'll start my prelims preparation from December, I will devote 10-12 hours to study everything. But eventually I've seen people wasting time, they are not productive, because that pressure is not there, because May looks far. So it's better that in the December and January you study about prelims, but here your prelims would just be taking up 2 to 3 hours, maximum 4 hours, depending on what's your speed of studying and what's your speed of revising and covering stuff of your syllabus points. But then this is what I'm saying, the remaining hours have to be divided between optional and GS mains, right? So this needs to be done. And what is the benefit? The benefit of doing this in the month of December is that you didn't leave your mains prep, because again the doubt comes in that even if I clear prelims and if I'm not mains ready, then again I'm going to be stuck. So at least that doubt is not there. And because you might see, and this is especially valid for those students who have a lot of friends, somebody is preparing for mains, somebody is preparing for prelims, and they are caught up, okay, what needs to be done? So they are so much, they become so much insecure that they don't know that, okay, my one friend is studying, has already started preparing for prelims. And of course, they are going to crack prelims because they have started preparing so early. And then there's another friend of yours who has a plan of not touching prelims preparation till the month of February end. So don't be in that, category where you are either succumbing to pressure to start prelims preparation from November, December onwards, and also do not postpone your prelims preparation to be so overconfident that you will start doing it in February and March. No, you have to strike a balance depending on what's your preparation phase, and in the sense that what is your strength, what is your weakness, where are your shortcomings, what has stopped you from clearing prelims. Even if you have cleared prelims, then maybe next time you couldn't. So like, maybe you wrote prelims, you wrote mains in the year of 2024, but 25 you couldn't clear. So please understand your own and take the advice, according to your own preparation, your own assessment of your strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so this is what you need to do. So actually, if you're doing all of this, you have also haven't left the mains preparation, and you have also eased yourself into prelims preparation. So you're also not living in FOMO that the world has moved on to prelims preparation, because yes, you will start seeing over Telegram, the announcement of various prelims test series. It has already started, I believe. Then you will start, even in seeing it on the newspaper, front pages and so many back pages also, that the prelims test series, are being launched. So it's better to start your prelims prep, but not devote the entire day to it. Okay, so you're balancing both the things, and December is, that is why it's tricky, it's a little challenging. But please do not panic, do not worry, see what is possible. Okay, where you have to tweak and make changes, how many hours you can devote for something, and accordingly please plan your month of December too. And for that, again, you need to have the calendar in front of you. You need to see that what days do I have. So actually your 1st December starts from Monday. Okay, it starts from Monday, and then you have entire 4 weeks again. And your 29, 30, 31st is what it's following in this week. So you have, starting from 1st December till 20th December, you have full 4 weeks where you can again plan that, okay, you've got in total 28 days. You've got, if you're covering any subject in 4 to 5 or 6 days, then easily you can cover again 4 to 5 subjects. Here 4 to 5 days per subject, that means 5 to 6 subjects. If I'm just increasing the number of days, 6 to 7 days if you're taking, okay, that means at least 4 to 5 subjects you will be able to cover. So accordingly you have to plan. Please see, please keep buffer. And why I have written this in red, please take a break. So post your Diwali, I have assumed that November, December, you're putting yourself into extreme pressure, you're studying for longer hours, but then you also deserve a break. So there are few breaks that you need to plan on weekly basis. Maybe study for 6.5 days and take a break on Sunday, second half of the evening or so, something like that. Okay, take planned breaks. Don't put yourself into a pressure cooker that every day you're studying for 12 hours, and then one day you're just like, okay, I'm done, I don't want to study anymore. Don't be like that. Okay, it's better to treat this exam as a marathon and not a sprint. So for a marathon, you're just building up your momentum, you're keeping your momentum. Okay, so that you can actually extend the preparation, you don't get the feeling of burnout, right? So this is why 31st and 1st you can actually go for a break where you're not touching up any subject, and this is how you can plan. I'm just giving you the ideas. The planning needs to be done by you and you only. It's just that I'm trying to give you certain suggestions and advices which you can follow. Now comes the month of January. So in a way, again, January, I would say that you don't have to entirely move to prelims preparation, that for 10-12 hours you're just doing prelims preparation. No, you could maybe keep a deadline that few things of optional you can study in the month of January. But then what you need to do is that here, first I'll speak about the GS subjects. Okay. So remember, I told you that in the month of November, December, you have to wrap up those GS subjects which have no bearing over prelims, right? But in January, you have to start picking up those subjects which are overlapping with prelims and mains subjects. For example, geography. For example, modern history. For example, polity. And of course, I'm assuming that it's not that you're doing these subjects for the first time. You have done it multiple times, but again, you're doing it to add value, to maybe, better your answer writing and the knowledge process. Okay. So GS means but subjects which overlap with prelims. So please include in January those subjects, plan for those subjects which are, being asked in your prelims and mains in both the exams. But there's a caution. Okay. Just a moment. Okay. So what's the caution? Whenever you're picking up those subjects which overlap with prelims and mains both, like polity, like geography, like environment, like modern history, you will keep separate slots. What do I mean by that? Because even if you're studying modern history from prelims and mains perspective, the approach will be different. So in a way, in the entire day, you need to have two separate slots for the same subject. What I mean to say is, for modern history, a separate slot where you are studying that subject from prelims perspective, and a separate slot in the day when you are studying the same subject but from mains perspective. Why am I not combining it? Because again, it's from my practical experience that when you combine studying, a particular subject from both pre and mains perspective, you tend to take a lot of time. So it's better to divide it into slots so that you know that, okay, maybe morning 9 to 12, and this is just purely example purpose, maybe morning 9 to 12, I'll be studying modern history. Maybe I'm picking up Spectrum book and I'll be just covering it from the prelims perspective. I will go through the questions to see what kind of questions have been asked in modern history, and accordingly, I'll study. Now, whatever topic I studied from 9 to 12 in the morning, maybe in the evening from 7 to 9, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., or maybe 5 to 8 p.m., whatever timing you want to allot, you need to see that, okay, what kind of questions have been asked from the same topics in the mains exam. But if you combine it together, you will study the entire day. So it's better to separate the slots, study the same GS subject, but separate the slot. In the morning, study it from prelims perspective. You solve MCQs. You approach the topics with the perspective from objective, mind and prelims perspective. But in the evening, you could also do the note making of it. For example, in the morning, if I studied about Buddhism and Jainism, or in the morning I studied about the Gandhian phase of the Indian national movement, the entry of Gandhi. So in the evening, I would cross check the previous year questions to see what kind of questions have been asked from this particular phase, what kind of questions have been asked from Buddhist sculpture and architecture, and let me do some note making, let me prepare content, so that if a mains question is asked on the same topic of entry of Gandhi, or maybe Gandhi's various movements, or Buddhism and Jainism contribution towards architecture and sculpture, I would be able to first develop a content, and then I should be able to write an answer over it, right? So unless until you develop the content from the mains perspective to be able to write a full-fledged 10 marker, 15 marker question on this particular topic, unless until you have developed that content, you won't be able to do it, right? So I hope you're getting the point. I hope it's not too complex to understand. And this is how you separate. Why we are separating it? Because if you club it together, entire day you'll be studying the Buddhism and Jainism sculpture and architecture and contribution and this and that. And then you will not be feeling satisfied either from prelims perspective or from mains perspective. Similarly, you're studying the entry of Gandhi because itself, in itself, these chapters are the bulkiest one. They are the most important phase of the Indian national movement. So what will happen is that entire day you're studying, and then neither you're able to solve the MCQs correctly, nor you have developed the enough sufficient content to write a 10 marker or 15 marker for that particular question from the same topic. Okay, I hope you're understanding this. So in a way, you need to plan it out, and between those separate two slots, you can align your optional preparation. Okay, so that's how you need to manage. Now for optional also, I would say you have 2.5 months. When I say that, that means November, December, and your first deadline should be 15 January. Deadline to cover your optional, and that is your first deadline. Okay, because again, keeping into mind that as humans, we are never able to plan properly so that our first deadline is matched. So I'm assuming that there will be a spillover. Maybe you're not able to complete your optional by 15 January. Then your second deadline is 30th January. Okay. But beyond this, I am really not comfortable that students should be touching their optional, especially if they haven't written mains, especially if they haven't cracked prelims even once. Okay. Please devote your February, March, April, May solely for your prelims preparation. And it's not just that you're doing your prelims preparation from February onwards. You have already eased yourself into prelims preparation. You already started doing it from the month of December onwards. But yes, you have to balance, you have to manage your time in such a way that you're doing it both prelims and mains preparation in a combined way in the months of November, December, and even in the month of January. But February onwards, it's more, and it's actually completely about the prelims. Okay, so no optional coverage post January. Two deadlines, you can also do it in a way that maybe 15 January and 20th January. Okay, depending upon how you're completing it, what's your target. You could also think that, okay, maybe I'll complete my first round of syllabus of optional by the end of December, and in the month of January, I'm just going to go for answer writing practice. I'm just going to go for valuation. Your call. You have to again, see where you're lying in your optional preparation and accordingly manage your time. Okay, so this is what you need to do for your optional preparation. So GS main subjects, but which overlap with prelims, and you have to have separate slots. That's why I have drawn out the two arrows. Okay, now what are those subjects? Of course, you know that in GS1 you have your history, modern, art and culture. You have, your world history, your post-independence, your geography. Now here again, of course, it has no relevance in prelims preparation. But if you remember in the, earlier few minutes, I talked about that we will be devoting few days to it. You could take out few days either in the month of December or in the month of January, your call, but do wrap it up. Don't devote more than 5 to 6 days to cover world history and post-independence together. Together, you should be able to cover it in within 5 to 6 days maximum. Or maybe max to max 7 days a week, not more than that, because again the cost benefit ratio, the ROI, it's very less. So it's better that you have plan like this. So you have these subjects. Okay, I have separated. Now you understand that for all these subjects you have to prepare from January onwards in such a way that you keep two separate slots and you study the subject from prelims perspective and you also study the subject from the mains perspective. Okay, now first round study from prelims and mains perspective both. So in a way, when you're studying these subjects, you have to cover these subjects both from prelims and mains perspective. Okay, I am saying all of this keeping in mind that for any reason you have not been able to cover your main syllabus in the months of July to October. So from November onwards, what you can do is what I have tried to suggest in this particular session. Okay. Now, again, the same thing, January calendar. You need to see that where you're lying, what days you have. So again, in January, leaving these first, second, because if you remember 31st and 1st, we are taking a break. So leaving this aside, second, third, you can start studying, but fourth onwards, you see that you get full 4 weeks. So fourth is your Sunday. So fourth to 31st, actually, you get the full 4 weeks, 28 days time. And accordingly, you can manage and plan your days, right? I'm not being too specific because the micro scheduling needs to be very, tailor made for the student, for the individual. So I cannot exactly tell you that, okay, from 4th to 10th, what you need to study, how many hours to study, because that's part of the personalized mentorship. That's very tailor made. That's, discussed individually with the student. When you give a general strategy, you give it in such a way so that now you know what to do on a broader basis, and you can micro schedule it. You can, make a plan according to your own status of preparation. February onwards, no optional for non 2025 mains written students. Okay. So, in a way, I want to say that if you haven't qualified prelims earlier, then you will not be touching your optional from February onwards. You have enough of time right now, November, December, January, 3 months to cover your optional to the best of your possibility, to the best of your, chance of, completing both paper one and paper two. Please plan it out accordingly, but don't study optional in the month of February, March. Every year I get the same query and I really get disappointed, because sometimes I want to ask the student that what you were doing from the months of July onwards, that you want to study your optional in the month of February and March. So, but I don't want to be rude. It's just that I understand that maybe you were preparing for some other exam, you were doing something else, whatever XYZ reason you had that you couldn't study your optional, you still have time. Please study it in the months of November, December, January. Okay. Don't take a risk that you're studying your optional in the month of February and March. Okay. I hope I'm clear with it. Now, some prerequisites, in the sense that I'm assuming that you're able to, very nicely, very productively, very efficiently able to utilize your months of November, December, because these conditions are getting fulfilled. What I mean to say, that you have to keep into mind that the ambient environment where you're studying, it needs to be conducive to study. So you have to keep into mind that I'm expecting that you will have a fixed routine, you will be disciplined, you will be committed to the goals. Now, no more time to waste. You don't have, if you have utilized your Diwali break, good. If you haven't utilized the Diwali break, still, I am telling you now, you don't have more time to waste. Okay, so whatever happened till the last of October, it's okay. Now onwards, you need to be really, really disciplined. You really need to be committed. You really need to have a very fixed routine, which is not getting disturbed by people around you or factors around you. Of course, unforeseen circumstances like, falling sick or something like that. But for that also, I'm going to talk about that what you should be already careful about, already be accountable that yes, these things can happen. They are bound to happen with me, and accordingly you can plan your days, right? So you have to follow a fixed routine, you have to be disciplined and committed to these goals. You can't afford to have distractions. So no to distractions and energy suckers. My every session, every strategy session, every motivation session talks about these things. And distractions could be anything. It could start from social media, or it could start from, your friends, it could be even your family, it could be multiple, it could be your flatmates, even it could be your landlord if you're staying in, old Rajendra Nagar or any place where, in a PG kind of setup. Please try and sort it out. If you can't sort it out, then ignore it. That's the best possible way. Please block people who are just going to distract you, who are just going to demotivate you, who are just here to, sort of say negative things to you, and never, they never think positively about you. So it's better to block those people. Please start saying no. No, no. Start saying no to random tea invites, random coffee invites, random movie invites, random, rendezvous in the parks. Please start saying no to it, because if you start saying no to other people, you start saying yes to your own dreams and desires. You have your own life, you have your own set of aim, you have your own set of, dreams and desires. Please work for it. Don't let other people distract you. And I'm not saying negatively about the other people, it's just that sometimes the other person, cannot understand the full picture, can't understand what you're going through, what kind of exam you're preparing for. Their life is different, because maybe they're already in a job, or maybe they're, thinking of some other kind of career option where sitting for 10-12 hours is not required. But you have chosen a career, you have chosen to appear for, UPSC civil services examination, which requires you to study, and you had your share of break during the Diwali, right? So now you have to start saying no. You have to be very, very cruel with yourself. You have to be very, very cruel with your routine, that nobody can distract me from my routine, from my commitment to cover the syllabus that I have decided to, right? And then, but of course, it doesn't mean that I want you to turn into a robot and don't expect you to take breaks. No, you need to take planned breaks. Planned breaks means that, in a way, if I'm living on my own in a PG setup, or maybe at a setup where I have to cook my own food or whatever. So I'll plan that, okay, maybe Monday morning I will go and fetch my grocery, or maybe Sunday evening I have to go out and plan for something, or maybe on the weekly basis I have to clean my room, whatever is that. So the breaks for your chores, for your daily work, that also, and even the planned breaks for your recreation, for rejuvenation, because again it's a marathon, so you can't put yourself under so much of pressure and treat yourself like a robot. Have your planned breaks, have your rendezvous, have your meetings with your friends during those planned breaks. Plan it out, don't make it a random thing, because when you make it a random thing, then you're totally distracted, you're not able to focus on your studies, right? You're out of that zone, and then inertia builds up. You're not able to come back into the study zone promptly, spontaneously. So it's better that you plan your break, that okay, I have it in mind that Sunday maybe the second half, or maybe Saturday second half, or Friday evening I'll be going out to meet my friend. So accordingly, have your weeks and days planned out. Okay, so planned breaks is necessary, rejuvenation is necessary. Okay, I'm not asking you to stop living a human life, no, but don't be so random, don't be a people pleaser, that whenever somebody is inviting you and then you're ready to go off, right? And because I've seen it in my own life, frankly, that when you're doing this, you think that okay, maybe I'll just go out for 2-3 hours, but before that and after that also the time gets wasted. So it's better to have planned breaks, so that you know that okay, Monday to Friday I need to study like anything, so that I deserve to go on a break on Saturday or Sunday, whatever is your day decided. So in a way, please have your breaks, but don't make it random, plan it. Okay, then of course, especially if you're living in North India, the weather is changing. We are proceeding into the cold winter months, and I know you've already seen those La Nina and all those things, news and everything, right? That we are going to have the harshest winter this time. It's not just about the winter, especially in the northern India, and especially in the Delhi NCR region. The pollution is also, quite problematic. So it's going to impact your immunity. It's going to impact your health. If you are a person who's prone to cough, cold, breathing issues, fall sick often, please start taking care of yourself. Please start planning that how you can build your immunity, what you can do. And it's, I'm no doctor, so I'm not the best person to give you the exact steps to be followed, but you need to assess your own body, your own health, and accordingly take action. So if you're prone to cold and cough, of course you have to increase your vitamin C, wala food. Like that's the basic advice, right? So please see, or maybe you're dependent on some medicines, maybe you have asthma, whatever it is. So accordingly, stock your medicines. Be prepared that okay, due to the pollution, due to now this kind of cold weather, you will start having more issues. Whatever is that, please plan it out. Please keep in mind that when you're studying in such a rigorous manner, there will be days where you will fall sick, or and because I'm not saying that when you're planning for your immunity, or even you have worked for your immunity, you won't fall sick. No, that doesn't happen like that. Again, life is not perfect, health is not perfect. So in a way, you just have to be prepared that okay, if something like this happens, how quickly I can recover. The quickness of recovery when you're falling sick is actually about the immunity. It's not about people never falling sick. That doesn't happen nowadays. So you must have seen this with COVID also, right? That when people were, catching it, then what was happening, that some people were recovering earlier and some people were recovering, taking a lot of time. So that where the immunity, role comes in. So please plan it out. Please see, please be aware about your own health issues. Take care of yourself. Okay, that's what I require you to do, and be aware of, so that you are able to study properly. So immunity and health, what are the issues? Of course, you have got the cold weather, you've got the pollution issues, even the bad food habits, depending on junk, not eating proper food, having Maggie. See, right now, immediately, it's not going to impact you. But in the long run, it's going to impact you. So, winter months, it's already harsh on your body to adjust to that, low temperature. So please don't put pressure. It's okay to have junk foods, once in a while to, of course, appease your taste buds. But ideally, I would say, as far as possible, please consume healthy food. Okay, please consume more of fresh food kind of stuff rather than overly processed food. And please take your supplements if you're onto some supplement or something like that. Please follow that. Okay. So you've got your bad food habits, then lack of vitamin D. It's the entire Indian population is vitamin D deficient. Without testing, one can say so. Okay, because of the nature of how we live right now, and there's no time to bask in the sunlight to get our vitamin D. So accordingly, if you already know that yes, your body tends to be deficient, please supplement it. Vitamin D is very essential for your immunity and for your overall functioning of the body. If you're not sure, please do get yourself tested. You can just get yourself tested for the hemoglobin, and just for few parameters. You've got Tata 1mg and pharmacy and so many testing labs and all that. They come to your home to actually collect your blood sample, and it's not even costly also very much. So please be aware of such things, so that you're not coming to me and you're not interacting with me, after 2-3 months and telling me that, ma'am, I felt so sick, I couldn't study, I had planned so much that post Diwali I'll be doing all of this, and then, I wasn't able to study because I felt sick. No, you have to, because yes, you cannot control your sickness, but you can plan accordingly that maybe it doesn't become so severe, right? So please be mindful, please be aware that what your body requires, and what's happening, and accordingly plan it out. Okay, plan your food habits, plan your activity. So even lack of activity and self-care is going to impact your immunity. So when I say self-care, it's not about going into salons and getting those hair spas and all. No, self-care is also consuming good food, doing what is essential for you. There have been many students who have told me that they were practicing meditation, they were practicing different kind of activities, yoga nidra, whatever, listening to meditation, chanting some mantras, whatever. This is not about religious idea. It's more about the spiritual and whatever activities or routine that works for you. Some people are not religious and it's totally fine, but you need to develop an activity, a routine for you which is helping your body. So for focus and concentration, people do meditation. So whatever is good for you, self-care needs to be done, because when you're putting yourself under so much of stress and pressure to be able to sit and study for 10-12 hours, day in day out, week in week out, then of course there's going to be an impact on health. So when you're taking good care of health, when you're fixing few things, that okay, this is my activity time, this is my walk time, this is my yoga time, this is my I'm not going to maybe consume more tea and coffee, I'm going to control the junk food craving, I'm going to take my supplements, I'm going to get myself tested, I'm going to take care of myself. All that is part of your preparation, right? All that is part of being an adult, that you have to manage not just your career, not just your UPSC preparation, but also your health, right? So please do all of this. And I never believe in that zero activity. Please do some physical activity, whatever your environment, whatever your body allows you to, walks, yoga, whatever, light stretching, whatever is there, please move your body. Our bodies are not, they are not made to be sit in front of a table under artificial light for 10-12 hours. That's not how the human body was actually made. So that's why we have so many diseases coming up, right? So it's better to develop a routine. Of course, we have our own dreams and desires, our career, is also there. But then we also need to take care of your body to the best possible thing which is possible, okay? And I would say that, take your planned breaks, rejuvenate yourself. On particular days when you feel that it's too heavy, take a break, okay? Don't put yourself under so much pressure that your body, your mind starts revolting against you. That's how the sickness actually comes in. People who are frequently falling sick, it's because your body is giving you warning signals that you're doing something which is not working in its favor. It's not benefiting the body. So that's why it makes you sick. So please see that what and how you require, what kind of rejuvenation, what kind of recreation, what kind of rest and breaks you require. Please keep that into mind. Keep in include that into your plan. But yes, you have to study, right? Because the exam is not so far. We are just 2 months away from the new year, and we need to utilize the remaining months to be able to do justice to our dream, to be able to do best to our capacity in the exam, right? So you still have time, it's never too late. But yes, you also don't have time to waste it away, to squander it away, right? So on this note, I wish you all the best. And if you're not able to do all of this on your own, then I would suggest you can come and join my mentorship batch, because I'm launching the Navigator mentorship batch for the upcoming 3 months, November, December, and January. Because post that, I'll be launching just the prelims mentorship. Now, this is the only last batch for GS mentorship. Okay, I'll be launching a proper brochure. You can check it out on the channel, and those who are interested can contact me. On that note, I wish you all the best. Take care. Start studying. Bye bye.